Welcome, friends, to the second part of this Stoic Geopolitics series. In the previous video, we analyzed Donald Trump's return to the White House and the disruptive rise of Javier Milei in Argentina, two clear manifestations of the pendulum swing of history. Today, we complete our analysis with two other figures who are also shaping this new cycle: Nayib Bukele in El Salvador and Jair Bolsonaro in Brazil. And above all, we will conclude by reflecting on the great historical opportunity this shift represents for South America. As always, we are not here to celebrate or condemn. We are here to observe calmly, without emotional narratives. We will analyze proposals, results, and consequences, maintaining a clear Stoic perspective. Because the pendulum keeps swinging, and in that movement, windows of opportunity open that don't always remain open. In this second part, we will explore how these four leaders, Trump, Milei, Bukele, and Bolsonaro, are shaping a new geopolitical map, and why this may be the moment for South America to move beyond being a mere spectator and assume a leading role in building a shield of the Americas. The path is made by walking. We now turn to Nayib Bukele in El Salvador. Bukele emerged in a very particular context. He assumed power in 2019 in a country that for decades had been considered one of the most violent in the world, dominated by gangs, maras, that controlled entire neighborhoods, extorted the population, and maintained a level of daily terror that made normal life almost impossible. His proposal was direct and straightforward: to prioritize order and security above all other considerations. He implemented a massive, heavy-handed strategy against the gangs, built maximum security prisons, and enforced strong territorial control. The results have been striking. El Salvador's homicide rate has fallen dramatically, dropping from one of the highest in the world to one of the lowest in Latin America in just a few years. From the perspective of Stoic geopolitics, Bukele represents a clear example of the pendulum swing. When a problem becomes intolerable, in this case uncontrolled violence, society tends to accept strong, centralized solutions that it would have previously rejected. His main characteristics are a direct and modern communication style, highly effective on social media, significant concentration of power, control of Congress and key institutions, pragmatism over traditional ideologies, a pursuit of investment and more open international relations, including rapprochement with China at times. However, here too we must apply composure and realism. The order achieved comes at an institutional cost: criticism for potential excesses in respecting human rights, weakening of traditional checks and balances, and the ever-present risk that highly concentrated power could lead to other problems in the medium term. The pendulum never stops. What is celebrated today as salvation can become a source of concern tomorrow if solid institutions that transcend any single individual are not built. Bukele has demonstrated that it is possible to regain control of the territory and restore peace to the people. That is an important lesson. But the true test will be whether that peace is sustained by clear rules and not just by personal will. Choosing order is almost a natural reaction when chaos becomes unbearable. Bukele is recent proof of that capacity. He is not a perfect model, as no model is, but he represents a necessary correction in a country that had hit rock bottom. And there is hope in that too. Societies can react, correct their course, and rebuild. To these three names we must add a fourth highly influential figure in the Americas: Jair Bolsonaro. He was elected president of Brazil in the 2018 presidential elections. His government achieved positive economic results despite having to confront the COVID-19 pandemic, ending his term with a surplus of 6.994 billion reais, 1.27% of GDP. Despite being convicted for an alleged attainment d'etat and facing strong judicial and media opposition, his figure continues to project significant influence in Brazilian politics. Currently, his son Flavio Bolsonaro appears in several polls as one of the frontrunners in the presidential race for the upcoming October 2026 elections, demonstrating that Bolsonarism remains alive and with considerable force. Dear friends, this concludes our analysis in this second video, part 2. Four leaders, Trump, Milei, Bukele, and Bolsonaro, who represent a marked swing of the pendulum of history toward more conservative, pragmatic positions oriented toward order and economic freedom. Three of them are South American, revealing that this movement is not merely an isolated phenomenon in the United States or Central America, but rather has deep roots across the continent. There are clear points of connection: the rejection of the Sao Paulo Forum model, criticism of the growing influence of China and Russia in the region, the defense of traditional values, and the prioritization of security and the real economy over ideological agendas. But there are also differences specific to each national context. Jair Messias Bolsonaro emerged as a popular reaction to the Lava Jato scandal and the decline of the Workers' Party, PT. Milei represents a strong reaction against the failure of Kirchnerism's populist project. Implementation of a macroeconomic order based on a plan of structural reforms to enable that long-awaited economic recovery. For now, Argentina, in this respect, is already showing a significant decrease in its country risk level, which has fallen from 3,000 to 500. Bukele, for his part, managed to restore a sense of complete security to the population based on order and territorial control. Each leader responds to the specific wounds of their country, but all point in the same direction: weariness with models that promised much and delivered little or nothing. From the perspective of Stoic Geopolitics, we observe this movement without euphoria or automatic rejection. It is a corrective swing of the pendulum, yes, but like any corrective, it carries its risks and opportunities. The challenge will be whether these leaders and their successors manage to build solid institutions and not just strong personal leadership, because history teaches us that strong pendulums tend to generate equally intense counterweights. We have calmly observed four figures who mark a clear swing of the pendulum of history: Trump, Milei, Bukele, and Bolsonaro. Four leaders with different styles, but who respond to the same continental weariness with models that promised progress and in many cases left only disappointment and exhaustion. This is not about blindly celebrating or condemning. It is about recognizing a reality. The pendulum has swung and opened a window of opportunity. This is perhaps the most important opportunity in decades for South America to cease being merely a spectator and assume its own leading role in global geopolitics, not as a subordinate of the North, nor as an antagonist, but as a partner with its own voice and influence. It is time to build a true shield of the Americas, a profound collaboration between the United States and South American countries based on real interests, not ideologies. A shield that combines the economic and technological strength of the North with the natural resources, youth, and creativity of the South. A smart convergence of ideas, responsible economic freedom, shared security, defense of sovereignty, and mutual respect. The peoples of South America have much to contribute. We don't need to copy foreign models. We can take the best from each experience. Milei's economic correction, Bukele's restoration of order, Trump's pragmatism, Bolsonaro's popular resilience, and build something of our own adapted to our reality. From the perspective of Stoic geopolitics, we know that nothing is eternal. This favorable turn of events may be short-lived if we don't act with virtue and wisdom. True success will not lie in following one leader or another, but in building solid institutions, fostering individual and collective responsibility, and learning from past mistakes so as not to repeat them. The path is made by walking, and today, more than ever, we have the historic opportunity to walk together with realism and hope. Because humankind, despite all its faults and fluctuations, carries within it the inexhaustible capacity to be reborn, to correct course, and to always build a better future. May this new cycle find us serene, clear-headed, and ready to be the protagonists of our own story. Thank you for joining me once again in this space for reflection. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications with a like, and leave a comment sharing your thoughts. I always read them all. See you in the next video, and, as always, I'll be waiting for you here under the lens of Stoic geopolitics.